The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kicked things off after a holiday yesterday. Markets closed, and you had a little bit of fear ratcheting up while the market was closed. Futures were open. You traded all the way down on the S&Ps. How about to 659.70? And just like that, we're back to positive territory. You're positive by 20 points. You see the acceleration from where we were on Thursday. Futures opened last night. We accelerate higher. Tensions potentially easing as much as they could, as the U.S. not involved just yet, at least in terms of Israel, Iran, and nonetheless, we get the markets. S&P's up by 20 to kick things off. NASDAQ 100, we're up by 82 points, or about 0.3%, trading at 22,027. And you see the area we're climbing into, kind of the chop of Friday. See how this market handles that on the open. Dow up 144 points right now, trading at 42,656. And how about the Russell leading the way? Check out that acceleration, right? The Russell, well over where we were on Wednesday. You're up 1.1% right now in the Russell. Russell was leading the way on Wednesday as well. We're up 23 points right now in the Russell. Trading at 21.52. Crude, one of the more important volatile commodities right now. Not bad. Trading at 73.32 right now, the price of crude. We jump around to the all-important yields. We got a little bit of lower price, higher yield right now of 4.42. Okay, 4.42. The yield on that 10-year. And as you get that, you actually get the dollar pull back a bit. So we were spiking above 99 towards the end of the session on Wednesday as futures were escalating to the downside yesterday. You had dollar strength above 99. We've backed off a bit. Dollar, still nice little bounce off the lows we had. Dollar trading at 98.70, saving itself a bit near that 98 low. We'll see how that dollar trades right now. 98.71 on the dollar. You jump over to gold right now. Gold, not happening, man. Gold down 42 bucks, trading at 33.65. Yeah, gold just having trouble at this 3,400 to 3,500 price point. Last week, you get as high as 34.76, and boom, just like that, you're 110 bucks lower in that gold contract. Be careful of that gold contract. Watch out, baby. All right, let's jump to some of the headlines. We'll start off with Israel and Iran. Trump hints he'll hold off on the Iran strike. When we ended Wednesday, he was talking to his National Security Council, right? Nonetheless, he's going to give diplomacy a chance. And so you have Europe and Iran. Okay, they're holding talks. And yeah, he's going to allow that to take place, it seems. That's the indication. And yeah, 2 weeks is the number. As we know, everything is 2 weeks, folks. But nonetheless, a little bit of patience. We'll see what happens based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future. I'll make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. So that hangs in the balance. And Iran maintaining, though, it won't negotiate with the U.S. while an Israel assault continues. The only way to end the imposed war is an unconditionally stop. Not sure that's in the cards, folks. Total speculation, all right? You're sitting, I'm just as able as many of you to speculate on Iran's war plans right now, okay? And Israel. But if you think the Israel war plan was to unconditionally stop so that there can be negotiations taking place, that's not happening, man. So we'll see if they are able to ratchet down tensions, but that's a very difficult task, to put it lightly. All right, we jump to the Fed. So we get a Fed decision on Wednesday. They keep rates where they are. And it's always interesting, right? So you get the quiet period leading up to the Fed. And then what do you get? They get to talk again. So you have Chris Waller saying that Federal Reserve Governor, how about just next month, man? Boy, the Fed starts cutting next month. Watch out in this market. We could do this as early as July, okay? Yeah, that's on CNBC this morning. They meet July 29th to 30th. They meet about every 6 weeks is what it is. I think we got room to bring it down, and then we can kind of see what happens with inflation. Yeah. 7 policymakers signal they expect no cuts this year, pointing to an apparent split in the committee. There's a lot of data still to come down the line. I mean, as Trump was saying himself, as Chairman Powell was saying himself, they're going to find out a lot this summer about the impact of these tariffs. Not really fair just yet to make a judgment in terms of, it's June 20th. There's a lot of pull forward on the first month of the tariffs, right? And then there's a little bit of lag after. But where are things going to settle? What's going to be the mainstream momentum of inflation, of growth, et cetera? And it's going to take a few months, and we'll see. But nonetheless, you got markets bouncing today, up by 21 points. We jump around to some of the movers and shakers. Meta shares up by about $4. This thing pushing almost all-time highs. We're going to open at about $7, $700. You got highs out there at $740. Short term, you get accelerating a little bit higher. And yeah, so pulling over. The glasses, they're coming. The smart glasses. Whether it's the metaverse, whether it's AI, Zuckerberg is all in, man. Meta and EssilorLuxottica unveil Oakley smart glasses. The Oakley Meta HSTN glasses, $399. Yeah, and so they have the Ray-Bans I've talked about. I've tried the Ray-Bans in Target. So they have prism lens technology, these new ones. They're designed to help athletes see better. Can you imagine this? It's going to start being where like a computer is going to be analyzing the outside light, and it's going to give you a more crystal clear image than you'd see with your own eyes. And this is where it's going, man. All right, they're available to pre-order July 11th, but it's happening, man. I've tried them on at Target, and they're seamless. That's the thing. They're seamless, right? Those first glasses, who was it that came out? Snapchat came out. Who came out with those first glasses that were just an automatic red herring everyone would see, and it looked like you had a video camera on your face, and that's not how anyone wanted it to happen. Checking out the volume on Meta. Let's put it back to a weekly right now as we're coming into another shortened week. Boy, that's a tough one, folks. All right, just trust your eyes sometimes, okay? Just trust your eyes sometimes in terms of, yeah, we have strength, but then we're faltering off, right? Now, we got a shortened trading week this week, but last week was not a shortened trading week. Look at the volume drop-off, okay, as you push that 700 mark. Meta did 112 million shares the week of April 28th. You did 85 million shares May 12th, and then we haven't seen anything like that since. And look at that volume on the downside. You're coming right back into this area. And on many of these equities, okay, they have similar action with this volume I was talking about, right? We've talked about it many times. You had an absolute volume dump off as traders got out of the market ahead of the real volatility coming on Liberation Day. Okay, smart money knew what's going on, man. The volume on this market from late February to middle of March to get ahead of the Liberation Day on April 2nd. And yeah, not only is the S&P chopping near the top of this range, but you got equities like Meta. Same thing. Top of that range at about 700. Markets in the positive, Friday trading. We're coming right back, folks.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks, and we got triple witching coming at you. So we got options expiration on the daily, weekly, and monthly coming at you. And of course, what do you have on top of that? You have volatility, okay? Now, the reason why I bring this up, okay, is these numbers that they throw around. The notional value, okay, and that's where, so we'll talk about, this is talking about 6.5 trillion in notional U.S. options expiring Friday. The thing that's tough about a notional value versus just the market value of what they're like is that in options, many times, especially right at expiration, all right, and this is why people love 0 days to expiration options, is because, for instance, okay, and this is how notional distorts everything dramatically, okay, let's just look at the SPY. Okay, the SPY trades at almost $600 a share. You jump into the options for the SPY, okay, and we take a look at the options expiring today, June 20th. If you want to buy, and it's trading right now to be exact at about $5.96, okay? So if you want to buy a $5.96 call, it's going to cost you about $3. Okay, now an option is 100 contracts. So to buy one option contract on the SPY that expires today for triple witching will cost you $300. The notional value of that option that you just purchased, okay, is 600 times 100, which is $60,000. So do you see how they just 20 times it? The notional value of your option that you purchased for $300 is $60,000. Yeah, so be wary of those notional values. And that's why people love them, though. And that is why people love options, okay? Because guess what? You're putting up $300 and you are controlling, okay, the face value or contract value of that financial instrument for $60,000, right? And man, that is why people love these zero data. And you can go even bigger, okay? That's if you're buying an at-the-money call. It gets even bigger. You just want to go out to, let's say you think the market's going to pop 1%, right? Well, you can control $60,000 worth of a SPY position, 100 shares of an SPY ETF trading at $600. You can control 100 shares of that if you buy an out-of-the-money call for $92. Now, granted, the market needs to pop about 1% for that to matter, but did you hear what I just said, folks? You can control a position that is basically a $60,000 position for $92 if you go far enough out of the money. Now, don't do that. I'm not recommending that at all. The odds, excuse me, that you're trading up, a full percentage point, which is what that basically is, a 601 call in the SPY that expires by today, very, very light likelihood, okay? Very little likelihood. But you see, so when they talk about notional value, always keep that in mind. People love, and I wish journalists would do a better job when they throw around things like that, okay? Investors are bracing for that notional options expiration today in a move that could free stocks to swing wildly. Nonetheless, keep that in mind, all right? And what they talk about here as well is Waller. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see when the Fed begins to cut, but they're talking about potentially in July. And there are how they reference that number when you're talking about SPY, NDX, Russell, and then single stock, okay? A lot of that index options, 4.2 trillion is the number. Now, the reason why it doesn't make sense when they talk about it notionally, folks, is because you can create a very simple hedge for a index option. And yes, it has a notional value that's large, but it's a very small position. And that's why people like options in the same degree. All right, jumping around, what else we got going on? Yeah, so if you didn't get a chance to check it out, boy, SpaceX, rocket science, right? And they had quite an explosion, man. And this is 24 hours ago, okay, almost. But you have SpaceX, Starship rocket explodes. This is their 10th test. They called it an extreme major anomaly. Yeah. So this, it just explodes. Looks like, a bomb just goes off right on the rocket launch pad. Huge fireball. And yeah, that was at 11 p.m. a couple nights ago this was. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday evening this was. Initial analysis indicated the storage container containing pressurized nitrogen failed. Probably important to make sure pressurized nitrogen containers don't start leaking out nitrogen when you're going to take off. And this is just interesting stuff, man. As he navigates space travel, all that stuff. Can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, right? They got nobody in those planes, so it's even better. As in, that's how you do it, man. All they're risking is finance when you're sending empty rockets up there. Nonetheless, you see what they have to go through. All right, S&Ps, man, we're climbing. Look at this volume we're getting already today. Now, what I will say is, okay, 6,073. Put it on your charts, folks. That was the high of Wednesday, and we're climbing right. We're within about 15 points of that price level right now. We got 5 minutes to go until the opening bell. Let's jump around to some of the other big dogs out there. Apple shares catch a bid, up by about 50 pennies to 197 and change. Amazon, up a couple dollars. They sold off hard on that close on Friday, but they're back to 214 this morning. We talked about Meta. They've got new glasses. You're at $700. And what's remarkable is they're not there yet, all right? I'm not spending $400 for smart glasses yet, but it's pretty close, folks. I'm telling you, it's pretty close. And before you know it, you're going to have the two merge. As in, think about it. We all think phones are everything. It's going to be a merge. We are on this cusp of technology. Imagine, instead of carrying around a phone, okay? Instead of carrying around a phone, what if they put everything that you were doing into your glasses, right? And what if it just created holograms that you could type into? Maybe you have an interface on your phone. Maybe you just talk to it. You know, one of the things, we are already patched in to our phones, right? But when Elon talks about, like, you know, brain sensors and all this stuff, I mean, he talks about that basically the interface for our brains to communicate with technology is through our fingers and our voices right now. And that's going to change, especially with the fingers. You think about how long it takes for you to type something, to search a query. All that's going to speed up. And you're going to just start talking to technology. And, yeah, so we're not there yet. But I think Zuckerberg's onto something, man. And it's just whether he can not spend through all the money before he starts making the money. But wearable devices, you know, all that stuff combined with the AI they have going on, and you just think about it. Look at, they got glasses. They're going to allow athletes to see better than they can with their eyes. You got to think bigger than you're thinking. S&P's up by 26. We're coming back for the opening bell. Don't go away, folks.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps right now up by 21 points, trading at 6,055. NASDAQ 100, we open the session up by 113. As I mentioned, you're looking for the highs of Wednesday. There's quite a little bit of sell-off all the way into the lows of the session yesterday in futures, and we open right near that level. You spiked to 6,070, right? What did I say? Let me put that back. Was that like a one tick? It was almost like a one tick. Nah, it stayed up there for a couple minutes. We got up to 6,070. So the number to watch is 6,073. Basically, that's the highs of Wednesday right now, and we're within about 10 points on the S&Ps. You take a look at the NASDAQ, we're right at that level, man. Yeah, check it out. NASDAQ, that level was about 22,100. What was the high exactly? 22,097.75, and we're right there right now. And the Russell up by 15 points. Russell sells off a bit. We keep our eye on yields. The 10-year, about 4.41. And the all-important dollar right now, 98.693. We check in on crude. 73.10 for that crude market. All right, we jump around. How about $1 trillion AI hub? Guess what it has to come with, though? Tax credits, of course. They bury the lead always in the end of this. And you know, there's nothing wrong with motivating areas of commerce that we need, okay? But what this talks about is that, yeah, Masa-san. How about $1 trillion U.S. AI hub to Taiwan Semiconductor? We pull up TSMC. What's this? What am I doing? TSMA? TSM. So you're positive, but you give back some of those gains. You see the trade higher to about 215 in the pre-market. Taiwan Semiconductor positive by 0.25% as this market is trading higher. But yeah, they're talking about $1 trillion manufacturing plant. They're going to put it in Arizona is the plan, okay? They're going to have Taiwan Semiconductor, okay, with NVIDIA. It's going to be everybody, of course, in there. Project Crystal Land. Got to love the marketing that comes into something like this, right? An Arizona complex. And yeah, Masa-san, he goes big, man. He wins big or he loses big. The plans are preliminary. Hinges on support from the Trump administration, okay? But yeah, of course, they're talking about in the early part of this. SoftBank officials have spoken with federal and state government officials to discuss possible tax breaks for companies building factories or otherwise investing in their industrial park, including talks with Mr. Howard Lutnick, the people said. And yeah, you get it, okay? But man, you know, it's like you got all these companies are going to get subsidized with tax breaks to be building. And it sounds so cynical, folks. But there's many things that are pro-growth. Yeah, that's probably a good case. But man, you look at some of the things going through this tax bill. I tell you, as somebody with a 4-year-old son, folks, okay? The whole deal with daycare, you know, you have, and this is where every time I now read it, right? You can do both, okay? This is the thing, you can do both. But every time you hear about $1 trillion AI facility that's going to get built, and they're going to get tremendous tax breaks. So those companies are going to receive those breaks, right? The shareholders are going to receive the fiscal monetary benefit, and we should all receive the benefit of having $1 trillion AI factory. That's why the government does it. You know, daycare, we got a huge problem, man. You think about daycare, we should be subsidizing daycare for young kids across the board. Folks, you can't send your kids to kindergarten free without paying a tuition until they're 5 years old. Okay, there's no reason why. You think about when you put kids in daycare, you have the ability for parents to work, the growth in the economy. It's a bummer that that doesn't get more attention. And why is it? Where's the lobby? Who's going to lobby? As opposed to having Masa-san out there with headlines that he's going to build $1 trillion U.S. AI hub. And of course, there's the lobby, there's the tax breaks, it comes with the politician, but when it comes to daycare, man, it's not there. And the economic impact, okay, of working parents, 2-income parents, paying for daycare, after tax dollars they're using, they get no kickback at all. And most of the time, folks, you know, people who are in that position, the money that they are able to save is money usually spent in that instance. And the devil's always in the details. I get it, okay? You don't want to be subsidizing people who are maybe just having other people taking care of it. But it's a vast problem, and there's no tax benefit whatsoever for families that are putting their kids. And listen, you want to go one step further, okay? How about just pre-K being subsidized, right? As in kindergarten, you can send your kid, but pre-K 3, pre-K 4, they're not included. They're not subsidized in any way. Now, pre-K 4 in Florida, you can get about a 50% kickback of the cost, but you're still talking about thousands and thousands of dollars just to send your 4-year-old to pre-kindergarten at the local public school down the street. I digress, right? I do. Okay, let's jump around to the market, man. Okay, some of the companies moving today, man. Let's do it. We got some equities that are moving on their numbers, and we got some fan favorites, some meme stock. How about CarMax, man? Ooh-wee, look at this. Didn't expect that one. Not sure if that was the conference call or just the open, but nonetheless, CarMax gives it back. Man, and they beat. What would happen if they missed? So they came in at $1.38 a share on $7.55 billion in revenue. Market was only looking for $1.16 on revenue of $7.52. Go a little bit bigger picture. All right. You know, if you're looking for an entry, $60 is the price point. This is one of those equities, though. You're getting in here, man. I would set a stop. Put it somewhere under these lows, because this equity is very volatile, and there's nothing to say that their business plan doesn't go to zero at some point. I mean, you're talking about on a company like CarMax, trading where you were 11 years ago. 11 years ago for CarMax. Amazing. The other side of that is, look at this technical support you have at 60. So what I like to do on an equity like this, all right, is you set yourself a stop. That's it. You know, when you're making a trade like this, unless you want to take this thing down to zero, okay, you get in at a technical area, pick a stop and just stick with it, man. Because the human mind is too good at rationalizing, you know, allowing those losses to run, right? Saying, what if I just give it a few more pennies, it's going to turn right now. Make a plan, stick with it, especially when you're dealing with equities like this. But yeah, on a technical basis, you got to like where that's trading if you're getting in at $60. But man, the market, not exactly the type of reaction you like to see on the open, man. They just give it up. Not sure if they did say something. Conference call began at 9 o'clock, and they just drop on the open for CarMax. All right, Darden. Look at this, man. All right, watch out. Watch out below. Market's trading higher, and both of these equities had decent earnings, and man, they're tanking right now. Darden, yeah, flat. So they beaten the top and bottom line as well. And they got a new $1 billion share repurchase. Now here's what I'll tell you about Darden.
Many trading newsletters
we'll go to break. We'll be right back,
focus
folks.
on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps right now up by 33 points. And yeah, we're coming up to session highs right now. And as I mentioned, right where we were at the open, right where we were in terms of Wednesday's highs as well. And that's almost right where we were Tuesday. Made it up to 6,080 on Tuesday, but we're at a critical area right now. S&P's catch a bid up by 0.6%. NASDAQ 100, we're above that area. Up by 0.8%, 169 points, 22,113. And yeah, we got some big volume right out of the gate, man. Dow up by 222 and the Russell up by 12. Bitcoin catches a bid up by a couple $1,000, 106,045 for Bitcoin. You got crude trading lower at 72 handle, 72.96. We check back in on that gold contract. Gold a little bit up from where we were, still negative by $28. And you have the dollar right now at 98.76. Okay, talking a little bit of Darden. So Darden's out with their numbers, decent numbers. Okay, they earned $2.98 a share. They beat by 1 penny. Revenue, they beat by 1 penny in terms of a billion. 3.27 billion versus 3.26 billion revenue. So pretty much, I mean, talk about, you think they not played with those numbers, folks, but you have a lot of latitude with accounting principles, even in generally accepted principles. They beat by earnings by a penny. They beat by revenue by a decimal point, a hundredth of a decimal point on a billion. Okay. But yeah, guess what? Look at this equity, man. All right. On a monthly basis, it is remarkable. Look at the strength we had last month. Okay. Now here's the problem though. I was looking at this earlier. Look at the volume this month. Okay. Now we only have 6 trading days left this year. Right now, you've done about 17.3 million shares on Darden. You pull up a daily. Okay, and what are we trading? Between 1 and 2 million a day? Yeah, Wednesday was a big day. Today we're getting some volume too on their earnings. But the point being, on a monthly basis, man, we're going to trade higher. And we're going to do it on lighter volume. Now, you're not going to give it up. I don't imagine this thing's going to trade down to get in this bar, which will be a $10 decline today. But the volume's not what you want to see. Nothing. It's not going to be 36 million. We're at 17 right now. We'd have to double the volume we've done all month, and we only have 6 trading days left. Put it back to a weekly, okay? And yeah, you have that vast extension, 12th. And this is going to be nice volume. We're going to get above the last week's. But nothing like what we've been doing. And we'll see how today plays out for Darden. What I will say is I go to Olive Garden, okay? And they have some problems on just a simple fundamental nature of making all the money they can. I've talked about it on this program before many times. I've gone to Olive Garden. I've ordered a glass of wine, and somehow it's not included on the bill. I've ordered a bottle of wine at Olive Garden. Okay, go there with my mom, go there with Tommy, right? We're each going to get a couple glasses of wine. We say, yeah, sure, let's get a bottle if we're both going to do that, right? They forget to put the bottle. Now, whether they forget or this is the server, right, giving you a free bottle, hoping for a tax-free kickback on their cash tip. They're not even going to get a cash tip usually. They're going to get it on the credit card, right? But how does a company that large have a process in place that a server has even the ability to do that? Think about the missed revenue. I've literally gotten 2 or 3 bottles free from Olive Garden in the last 7 or 8 times I've been there. Apply that number. Now, I know that there's no way it's happening that much on a constant basis. People don't probably order a bunch of bottles of wine at Olive Garden. Maybe not, right? Maybe not. It's not the type of place you roll in and say, I'm going to get a bottle. But they have some problems. And then the last part of this, okay, is that I'm there recently as well. And I say, you know what I love, folks? One of my favorite cocktails is a skinny margarita, all right? It has nothing to do with the calories. It's just like the taste, good tequila. My dad and I used to call it clean booze. Satirical, sarcastic, okay? It's still booze. But boy, the hangover is good tequila. Tequila's all the rage these days. You get a nice skinny margarita, okay? It's just lime juice, agave nectar, and some good tequila, basically. It's a very small drink. And these restaurants get away with charging you $22 or something, bonkers for a margarita with high-end tequila, okay? And I say to the server, and they have margaritas on their menu. They have like 2 or 3 by design margaritas on their menu. I say, can you guys do a skinny margarita? And the girl looks like she's like dumbfounded, the waitress. Not her fault, okay? She's obviously not trained. Point is, they told me they can't make it. They can't make a skinny margarita, folks. I was like, all right, I don't want one. I'll just get a water. $22 of revenue for 1 shot of tequila is what they pass up on. And then you add in the wine in there. I don't know. I constantly find myself as somebody in business, as somebody that's, fascinated with the process. A company this large, they should be nailing the process. There's no way you should ever be able to give away bottles of wine for free as a server. It happens all the time. And then they're turning down. You can't make a skinny margarita? Man, you're advertising tequila. I don't know. It feels like fundamentally, sometimes I listen to myself, all right? I talk about it all the time. And listen, I like them. They got great food, all right? They got great value. They really do. They got great value. I got chicken parmesan the last time I was there. Freaking delicious. If you're looking for a lighter meal, we'll do a little Olive Garden. Margarita chicken. Margaritaville chicken. Margarita chicken. Yeah, it's just a simple grilled chicken. Got some good cheese on there, some pesto, some tomatoes. I love their stuff. But if you're not making that type of money on the booze, they're just, multiple-wise, they have a problem. And there's no way they should ever have that type of problem. So if you have that type of problem, and this is on a marquee place, folks, in Lakeland, huge mall, and you're talking about they got Olive Garden in there, they got Longhorn Steakhouse, many competing restaurants, and somehow they're not charging for booze, and they're telling me they can't make me $20 margaritas, right? Maybe it'd be a little bit less, but yeah. All right. Let's jump around to what else we got going on. We talked a little bit of Taiwan Semiconductor. We talked some options. Yeah, let's stay with Japan right now. Masa-san, we'll jump to Japan. And yeah, their central bank. Now, they call this a surprise, okay? We'll jump to the yen in a moment. Japan surprises with a bigger cut to super long bond issuance. But this was already a problem. It shouldn't be too surprising, okay? They had a problem pushing out long-term debt. The same way we're having a problem, almost pushing out long-term debt. Japan's finance ministry plans to cut the issuance of 20, 30, and 40-year bonds by 3.2 trillion yen through the end of March 2026. That's $22 billion US is the number there through, the next 9 months or so. And yeah, that's why. Look at these long-term yields, okay? They got 20 in blue. The 30 is in orange, and the 40 years in black. They were at 0% coming into COVID. You're pushing 2.5% to 3%. Nobody's buying them, so they're going to stop issuing them. Shouldn't be too surprising. And we're dealing with some similar problems out there. All right, we'll jump over the yen. Yeah, we're up by about 30. We're trading at 145 right now. Yen weakness. You got dollar strength out there as well. All right. We just gave up almost 20 points in the S&Ps. Right back to the highs of Wednesday, up by 19. One more segment, folks. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps up by 18 points. Markets holding on to the gains right now. Check back in on that crude market. Crude chopping around near $73. Gold right now off about $23, but we catch a little bit of a bid, trading at $33.85. We check back in. Yeah, CarMax. We're up by 2.3%, but they roll over. Darden rolls over as well. Both still in the positive, but giving back a lot of the gains pre-market as Darden up by 1.5% right now. All right, we jump around to some of the other headlines. So, interesting one from the Journal. Israel tested theory that war can't be won with air power alone. Now, if you haven't had a chance, folks, to check out the interview, and I haven't even seen the whole thing between Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz. As much as I'm not a fan of many things that Tucker Carlson says, man, Ted Cruz is a buffoon that knows nothing in this interview. There are 92 million people that live in Iran. Okay, the one thing that's amazing, there are more people in Iran than in any country in the EU, in Europe. Almost 100 million people. He's got no idea how many people are in Iran, okay? And the reason why I bring it up is because how do you got 100 million people in that country. How this ends on a peaceful nature in that degree. And then you jump over to the next story, okay? And that if there was ever an ousting of their supreme leader, the Ayatollah Al-Khamenei, things could actually even get more radical, because then you'd have the Iran Guard taken over, okay, which is even more radical in terms of where it comes from Israel. So where's the jumping off point, okay? Since the formation in 1979, which is bonkers that you're talking about 46 years ago, okay? They've been there longer than I've been on this planet, right? 125,000 personnel. That's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Okay, and they'd be the one if there's maybe there's a ramp off. Let's hope for it, man. But boy, there's some risk in this market right now. They got everything. They got their own ground forces, Navy, Air Force, intelligence, special forces. 125,000. That's just in the Revolutionary Guard. Folks, thanks so much for kicking your Friday off. Stay tuned.